Okay, good morning. I'm Dr. Louis Uccellini. I'm the Director of the National Weather Service. And first I want to welcome you to the NOAA Center for Weather and Climate Prediction. I'm thrilled that this new world-class forecasting and research facility can host such a visit. And just to emphasize, this is the central core of the National Weather Service. Essentially, this is where what you read, see, and hear about weather, climate, and water begins. It all starts in this building. Doesn't end here, but it all starts here for the larger enterprise. We're here to showcase how the National Weather Service provides the foundation for the weather enterprise and works towards this attaining and building a weather-ready nation. And joining me today, we have Maryland Senator Barbara Mikulski, the newly sworn-in Commerce Secretary Penny Pritzker, the acting NOAA Administrator Kathryn Sullivan, and Weather Channel's hurricane expert Bryan Norcross. Thank you all for being here. I'd like to start this panel discussion by saying just how excited I am for changes that are about to take place in the National Weather Service and what it means for protecting life and property across the entire country. We are about to begin a multi-year, multi-phase series of remarkable upgrades to our supercomputers, beginning with a 3-fold increase in computing power by mid-July of this year, and a 10-fold increase by the end of calendar year 2014. And we'll have even greater advances beyond that. We'll be running higher resolution models across the whole spectrum, producing more accurate forecasts and warnings across the country. And with more computing power and more sophisticated models, decision makers across the country will now have more dependable information provided earlier to convey potential threats. While I could discuss the game-changing advancements all day, I will be happy to take questions later. For now, without further ado, it's my privilege to welcome Secretary Pritzker.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Uccellini. It was great to tour NOAA's Center for Weather and Climate Prediction and to meet our team of experts. I'm pleased this is my first of several stops to Commerce Department facilities in the region. It's a particular honor to be here with Chairwoman Mikulski, someone who I deeply admire for her longstanding service to Congress. The people of Maryland, indeed, are very fortunate to have you representing them in Washington. The name of this facility says it all. Predicting the weather and climate is essential to protect lives and property and to strengthen our country. Every day, NOAA and the National Weather Service, scientists and meteorologists analyze billions of pieces of data. They issue highly accurate forecasts that are essential information for each of us and for our businesses. We use this information throughout our day to plan our vacations, to keep our families out of harm's way. Make no mistake, this center saves lives. As well, these forecasts help our businesses continue to operate and move goods smoothly as possible throughout the supply chain of America. And these forecasts also help Americans who work in sectors like real estate development, as helping them choose where to place a new office building, a new industrial facility, a new property like this. So the work that happens here is also crucial to keeping our economy going. This center is also an important hub of innovation. Entrepreneurs and business leaders come here to discover the potential for new products and technologies. We need their partnership as we work to build a weather-ready nation. The partnership with the University of Maryland is also crucial. When the federal government builds a state-of-the-art facility on a campus like this, we have a responsibility to maximize its potential. So we want to see many more collaborations between NOAA employees and faculty here at this university. Also, we want to see more students come here for an education, hands-on training, internships, and more. We want to spark their imaginations. We want to give them skills to succeed in their career. We want to plant the seed that public service at a place like NOAA could be part of their future. Clearly, we need to help in the coming years and decades, not just for day-to-day forecasting, but also we monitor and predict climate changes, another part of what NOAA does. President Obama emphasized climate change last week in a major speech. Slowing the effects of climate change is crucial to ensuring a bright, healthy future for the next generation. As the President said, we need an all-of-the-above approach to energy coupled with steady, responsible steps to cut carbon pollution. Part of the solution is for both the public and the private sectors to continue to developing breakthroughs in areas like clean energy. These breakthroughs will have an added benefit of helping us outcompete and out-innovate the rest of the world in the energy sector. We also need to do on-the-ground work to help communities as they confront the effects of climate change, many of which are already evident in some of our major coastal areas. NOAA is at the forefront of helping these communities become more resilient for the long term. We're providing tools and expertise to help them prepare for and respond to issues like drought, sea level rise, flooding, and more. We must all be working together to ensure a healthy planet and provide a bright future for our children. It's clear that our president understands all of this, and of course leaders like Chairwoman Mikulski understand it too. She understands that our environment, our way of life, and our overall prosperity are increasingly tied together. She knows why NOAA's work here at College Park is so important to the people of Maryland, and in fact to all Americans. Again, it's an honor to be here with you today, Chairwoman Mikulski. I will turn the podium over to you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Madam
you.
Secretary. I need my little stool here. High-tech events require a low-tech stool. Good morning, everybody. I'm delighted to be here at the Weather Forecasting Center, where Maryland is the epicenter for broadcasting weather forecast to the nation and to the world. It is here at this facility and at Suitland that we gather the information, process the information, and send it out to the world. Right now, this very minute, over in Suitland, Maryland, there are tracking devices for our satellites, our eyes in the sky, that are looking out over our weather, both in our own country and in the world, shooting that, gathering that data there into Suitland and shooting it over here to this wonderful campus where we are processing the data through our computer network, our talented people using the best science and mathematical models, and then getting it out to 122 weather forecast offices and to public and to media at local radio and TV stations, and of course to the Weather Channel, one of the most watched channels in America. We are so excited that Maryland is the epicenter to be able to do that, because we feel that one of the most important jobs that your government can do is help people save lives and save property. That is why we need accurate weather forecast. Now, I was here as the senator from Maryland during the great Hurricane Sandy coming. As it moved up the area, and I looked at the computers, saw people working 24/7 to give governors, ordinary citizens, daycare moms, and so on the best information. While Governor Christie and Governor O'Malley were mesmerized to know how to deploy and what to do in order to protect their people, we were watching this. But as we looked at the computers, we saw that there were two different models. There was the American model coming out of here, and there was the European model. Well, the European model said pretty much we were going in the same direction until we reached a critical point. And what we saw was that the European model was faster, had more accuracy in hindsight than ours. Well, I went back to Congress, and as I was working on the urgent supplemental, the money to put the federal money into the federal checkbook to deal with the ravages of Hurricane Sandy, to make sure that we could work with our governors, whether up and down the East Coast. I said, you know what? We love the Europeans. They're great NATO allies, but I'll be darned if they're going to have a better weather model than the United States of America. And I rallied my colleagues on a bipartisan basis to put money in the federal checkbook to come up with the computational capacity to have a new American model that will be the fastest, the most accurate, have the greatest resolution of any facility in the world. We might have a race with the Europeans, and we welcome that. If we race for in the Olympics, we're in the Olympics of the weather. But we are going to have, for our American people to do that, working again on a bipartisan basis, we came up with over $50 million as a significant down payment to bring the supercomputer model that will be right here doing the job it needs. As the satellite information comes in, where we have the right science, we're going to have a computer that really then enables us to be able to tell our citizens and even predict to the world what that is. I thought that was a phenomenal accomplishment. So as we're rebuilding America after, particularly our East Coast, after Hurricane Sandy, whether it's Somerset County or Garrett County, whether it's the beaches of the New Jersey shore, whether it's Ocean City, New Jersey, or Ocean City, Maryland, we're all Americans together. But all Americans together need the best weather. So whether you're along the East Coast or the Mississippi, Missouri River, whether you're in New Orleans wondering what's going to happen to you, whether we're looking at the kind of models about the terrible fires in Arizona, and our hearts go out to the grief that they're facing there today, we need to have the best protection. So I chair the Appropriations Committee. That puts money in the federal checkbook. And I believe that America governs best when we can do it bipartisan. I got bipartisan support to that. And we are actually putting money in the federal checkbook to make the down payment and the supplemental. And next 2 weeks from now, I will be moving the federal budget for the Weather Service. And I can assure you, we are going to make every effort in a well-planned, well-paced way to modernize our capacity to be able to have the best computer prediction models with the best workforce. And we will do all that we can to prevent another sequester to be able to do that. This is what we feel we need to be able to defend America. Whether you're predicting storms, whether you're predicting the Dorico, which is the year's anniversary of this, but most of all, saving lives and saving livelihoods. For what we can offer in predictions, we can enable people to plan if they see the storms coming in their direction. Businesses will be able to plan. Governors will be able to plan what they need to be able to do. You know, America's commerce depends on good weather predictions. So if you're ships at sea, you need to know the weather. If you're deploying your aircraft and you're the private sector, how many of you have been grounded because of the weather? You need to be able to predict, should you even go to the airport at all. But really, America's commerce and America's functioning depends on the weather. And what is so great about our country is that it's not, the NOAA service is government owned and operated. But what we are able to do is how we communicate with the American people. And we have one of the greatest ways of doing that. We work with the private sector, local radio stations, local TV stations, and the Weather Channel. When people watch the Weather Channel, they're getting their information from NOAA. And also, I'd like to introduce now one of the really great people, Bryan Norcross, from the Weather Channel. He is a fantastic hurricane specialist. And Bryan, as you come up here, I want to thank Secretary Pritzker on her first appearance, her first public appearance as Secretary of Commerce, to come here to NOAA, because she knows that it is weather and weather predictions, accurate forecasts, that enable the functioning, the good planning for the commerce to continue. whether it's internationally, whether it's nationally, and locally. And also Dr. Kathryn Sullivan, our NOAA administrator. And of course, there is the charismatic person who runs this, the intrepid, unflappable, unwavering Dr. Uccellini. Dr. Uccellini has devoted almost 30 years to the Weather Service. He's won every award that he can. He doesn't seek awards. What he seeks is to make sure we can make the right predictions at the right time to save lives and livelihood. I'd like to give the A-team a round of applause and bring Bryan up to give us the Weather Channel perspective. You don't need my stool, Bryan.
No, I think I'm good. Senator, thank you very much, and thank you, Louis, and Secretary and Administrator Sullivan for having us here and having me here today. On behalf of the Weather Channel, it was just wonderful to see this magnificent facility. This really is the center and of the fundamental and foundational role that NOAA plays in the national forecast and warning business. 18 years ago, I testified before the Senate Governmental Affairs Committee. Yes, 18 years ago and beyond. Some of us were in the weather business, Louis, and continue today. The discussion at the time was about characterizing NOAA's role in the public-private partnership that is the American weather system, a system that's providing, of course, increasingly accurate forecasts and better warnings to keep Americans safe against severe and extreme weather. I said in that testimony, and it's even more true today, that NOAA's satellites, radar, data, and the professionals that work in this building, the dedicated people, they're the foundation of the entire weather enterprise, the public, private, and academic part. Without this operation here and around the country, everything that we do would not be possible. Without NOAA and the National Weather Service, the Weather Channel, private enterprise, and the researchers would not be able to add value to this work and would not be able to customize and to create the products that we do to do business in the weather business. So in a warming world of extreme weather, NOAA's mission to protect life and property and to enhance the national economy, that is the stated mission of NOAA, becomes even more critical, of course, and the partnership with the Weather Channel and other private businesses in the weather industry and the academic community all come together to build the most robust weather system in the world. And if we're going to continue to do this, we need a strong NOAA and we need a strong private industry so that together we can meet the challenges of a changing world as we're going to unravel and communicate to the American public what they need to know so that we can be a weather-ready and a climate-ready nation. Thank you on behalf of the Weather Channel. It's a pleasure to be here. Dr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Bryan, very much for giving us a perspective on the private side of the public-private partnership. I would just add that a quick count we did here this morning, there are something north of 300 separate private sector entities that comprise a multi-billion-dollar private weather enterprise that complements the public investment and public activity that Bryan and the Secretary and the Senator have noted today. The partnerships that NOAA has with those private sector institutions and with our academic colleagues, such as here at the University of Maryland, they are absolutely essential to support the fundamental goal that we all share, which, as we have all said, and it can never be emphasized too much, it is about protecting lives and livelihoods. It's about keeping this country healthy, whole, and functioning, and doing that in an environment where the data are telling us the frequency of weather extremes is increasing, the severity of the events coming our way is increasing. The mission has never been as important as it is today. It has just grown through the years. As the acting administrator of NOAA, I want to salute the steadfast dedication of the people who work in this building. National Weather Service, National Ocean Service, our satellite service, all co-located here so that they can blend their expertise and the strands of work that they each contribute to this great forecasting enterprise seamlessly, rapidly, to deliver in a fused, seamless way the absolutely best environmental intelligence. As the Senator puts it, the news you can use in a timely, accurate, and reliable fashion. Our ability to do this starts and surely with the expertise in this building, but it would also not be possible without the leadership of Secretaries of Commerce and the steadfast support that we've had from many allies in the Congress, most notably the fine senator standing here immediately to my right. Senator, I thank you for your steadfast, long-running advocacy, and most particularly for your support and your leadership in rallying the effort that provided the supplemental funds following Hurricane Sandy. Of course, extreme weather and the effects of climate are equal opportunity hazards. They endanger every congressional district, and we've had very vivid reminders of that these past few days and weeks. While the western half of the country deals with record-breaking heat and wildfires, many eastern states are facing severe flooding even today. And we still face threats from tornadoes, in Boston no less. So families and communities everywhere in this land, the country that has the greatest array, variety, and severity of weather events of any country on this earth, need to take steps now to ensure they're weather ready no matter where they live. Last week, as Secretary Pritzker mentioned, the President announced an all-encompassing approach to addressing climate change. NOAA's environmental intelligence will play key roles in this endeavor as well. This week, in fact, we released a new product to provide people with information about drought. This is a data product that will allow the private sector more up-to-date information about the status of the drought and help them better inform their planting decisions and the water management decisions that state and local government officials are facing. These are the kind of data and the kind of information that is at the heart of NOAA's mission, used across a wide range of governmental entities and private sector companies, all to help us live wisely and well on this very dynamic planet. As Bryan has alluded to, when it comes to weather and climate, NOAA is the foundation on which our entire country's enterprise stands, and the enterprise can only be as healthy as the foundation is strong. The country needs us, and our private sector and academic partners count on us to always bring our A game, and that's what we aim to do. Thank you all for being with us here.